start with a little intro.
My name is Rachel Hale. I'm here with my friend Satiz, and I have no idea why.
That's a good intro. Okay, let's just jump straight into it.
Okay. So our period is amazing because it's an opportunity for us to shed every month. We get to let go of stuff that doesn't serve us. People complain about PMS, but for me, I love it. Yeah, I'm irritable, I'm hormonal, I'm all over the place, but for me, I know that I'm releasing a lot of things that are no longer serving me. I'm digging into a lot of those spiritual crevices that are connected to my body just shedding. And so it's a beautiful thing. I think we can switch the narrative around what periods mean to us. Me too. You know, like me too. Like Kavanaugh. Like there's so much stuff. I don't want to get political because like honestly, I'm not even surprised anymore. But it's really when you look at like the sexual harassment and all the stuff that's going on, I think it's really time for us to look at the way we're raising our boys and the narrative that we're allowing them to say. And I'm a firm believer that you should raise men and women the same. You should raise men to be able to cry and express their emotions. You should raise women to be tough and take care of themselves and be independent, just like you should raise boys. So for me, if you're raising everybody to be a whole person on their own, we're not looking to other people to fill us up. We're just looking to ourselves to figure out how we can expand more in a more whole and solid way. So we're not like, trying to fill all these voids. My Instagram is not the greatest, but my life is amazing. And so it's like my Instagram is not my highlight reel. It's just not. There are some highlights on there for sure, but the little moments, the stolen moments that I'm not posting, it's because I'm just there experiencing it. I'm not, if I pull my phone out, it changes the dynamic and the energy in the room, and I just want to be there. Some of the videos I take, I don't even ever post. So it's just for me, and I go back and look at them all the time. My friends laugh at me all the time, but it's just for me or my circle. So that's really nice to have those things precious and private too, old school. So presence is a big thing I've been thinking about a lot lately, and it's there's a lot of pressure to be on your phone and get that shot for Instagram or whatever it is, be interesting online. But I noticed that when you put your phone down and you start to engage with the people around you, you're living life, first of all, but then also you're realizing who you have in your circle and who's around you. And if you're always on your phone not paying attention to that, a lot of things can get lost or you can outgrow things without even realizing. And so for me, it's just really paying attention to when I'm on my phone and when I'm just with the people I'm with and how nice those moments become when you have that time and you're just there and you don't have the pressure of being on a device. Growing up as a Black woman in a white neighborhood and around a lot of other like Eastern Europeans was an interesting thing because a lot of times the only people of color I saw were my siblings. And so I was like all into Malcolm X and like really into Jackie Robinson and like felt that like I had to own that and like teach my classmates about who they were. And I was really like proud of that heritage, especially as an athlete. Like Jackie Robinson was like my jam, And growing up, I was modeling a lot. And when it came to that, I noticed I was like only put with other people of color, or I was like the one Black girl in like a group of like all white people, and stuff like that really bothered me. I was like, this is not necessarily indicative of not of Toronto, but definitely not of the world. I think it's not that segregated, and people are able to relate in a lot of different ways that weren't being represented in mainstream media. So I think the biggest struggle for people of color is like lack of representation. I would say the biggest shift of me like really tuning into like Black excellence and like really wanting to own that was when Spike Lee's Malcolm X came out. For me, that was like a turning point. I was like, yo, like I'm a part of this. Like this man is like so intelligent, so powerful, like, such a rebel, really fighting for what he believed in. And I was like, yo, that's like a part of my DNA. And I didn't even realize I should be fighting for stuff like that until watching that movie. I remember I had like the X button, the hat, like everything. Like that movie changed the way I looked at myself. It was amazing. Still, it's like so poignant looking back at it. There's a turning point. Yo, being a Black girl is so lit. Black person is so lit because you get the best hair. Like you can do anything with your hair. You can do straight, you can do curly, you can do this, you can do whatever you want, extensions. colors. You can switch it up all the time. There's so many options for us, and it's like so much fun to play with our hair. Like it's the best. And so many times, like I've never seen a commercial like for shampoo that I can ever use, but it's still like amazing because we figured it out on our own and we're resourceful and we share stories, and it's more of like um, a folklore sort of thing that's been passed down through generations. It's such a connecting thing. When you're able to connect with people because you've had all those experiences, it helps you even more, because I've done this thing, I've done that thing, I've been on this part, I've been on that part. So I can relate to a lot of different things that are happening right now in the shifts. And I'm adaptable. I think the biggest thing is adaptability. If you can adapt to any situation, I can be in a room full of Middle Eastern sultans and be totally fine. And I know that. I've never been in that room, but I know I would be fine. Because I believe like I can be with the head of the KKK in a room and be like, cool, what do we have in common besides blood and skin? And I'll find something. Guaranteed we'll be laughing by the end of the night. But you have to go into every situation with that attitude and know that you're going to first find love and bring love. And you'll find something you have in common with that person or those people to bring it all home. Nobody's connecting anymore. We're all on our phones. So that kind of personal connection that's happening in these small huddles, these groups, like these connecting forces, when you actually put your phone away and are just with people and you're able to share and open up and trust that they're able to meet you in that space, that kind of magic is not happening nowadays. And when it does happen, it's so rare that the way it feels to us is uncomfortable. Because we're all like connected and we're like super witty and smart on our phones and whatever. Yeah, I love you. But like, do you love that person in real life? How do you show that person that you love them in real life? And that's the challenge. Like feeling that, there's no going back. It's ignorance is bliss. Like you've seen it now. It's there. The door's open. You have to go through it. I'm biracial. So my parents come from very different worlds. And so I was exposed to a lot of different things growing up. Which, regardless of your background, you should expose your kids to things because they'll be able to talk to anybody, adults, kids, whoever, without a second thought, because they'll have things to relate to people about. And everything is about relations and relating to people. I have always been a tomboy, but I'm very feminine at the same time. And I like being dynamic. So for me, it's like there's no box to put me in. I can wear stilettos and a dress one day and be just as comfortable and like baggy leather pants and a hoodie, So I feel really lucky to play that both sides, or no sides, I should say. And it's just about confidence and what you're comfortable in, You don't have to choose. You can do whatever you want, really. I will say that was a struggle for me growing up. The girly thing, the tomboy thing was a big struggle. I was really, I was athletic. I played tons of sports. I was always dressed like a boy. I idolized my brother. So I wanted to be like him. And I was friends with a lot of dudes. And so a lot of girls hated me because they thought I was like crushing on their man when really I was just trying to cross them over. So for me, being a tomboy that's also very feminine and like coming into my femininity more around college was super fun. But also like in college, I finally had girlfriends and I was like, whoa, like this is amazing. I've like never looked back. It's a different level of relating, but I'm so grateful that I can relate to everyone like effortlessly sort of with it, regardless of gender, It's so important for you to have that person in your life who you trust enough to check you and keep you honest. That person who you'll listen to, that has your best interest at heart, that loves you, whether you're up or down, that is your rider. If you have that person, you're going to grow. It's imperative to your growth to have people in your life who check you and aren't just yes men around you. Well, this is the thing, like growth is uncomfortable. Like I always compare growth to the seed that's been planted in the earth. It's suffocated, right? And when it starts to grow, it has to push through that heavy earth to get out to see the sun. But you still have to go through that really uncomfortable turmoil in the beginning to even get to the surface. And when people are uncomfortable or not willing to be uncomfortable, they're not going to grow. And so it's like in that space, who's holding you in that space underground? Who's there with you in the darkness? That's what your ride is. That's what your friend is. That's a person checking you. Like when they're there watering you, when no one else is around, it's pitch black. You need that to grow. I think looking good can seem vain and superficial, but it affects, what you put on or what you eat can make you feel amazing, and then that exudes out from you. So you feel like you look good, even if you're like, whatever, just got out of a wet shower or whatever. So I think it's important like that. And it's so cliche, like beauty comes from the inside out, but it's real. It's so real. I can't tell you the amount of times that people are like, there's just something about you. And I'm like, nothing. Like literally, I'm like so normal and whatever. There's nothing. But it's just like, I'm happy and I'm like loving. And that's what people see. They see the love. That's it. Which is great. Like, wow. I feel amazing that people like feel that love, It's nice. Nice legacy.